Now in this segment, I did want to take a look at painting mediums. Now there's all sorts of different painting mediums that can be used out there, but what I wanted to do was sort of show a general overview of some of the more common ones that are out there. Now first I want to go over why you need a painting medium and what exactly goes into a painting medium. Why you really need one is that when you first squeeze oil paint out of the tube, it is very viscous, meaning there's the only binder in there at that point is an oil, and it's very hard to maneuver. And typically what you want to do is add something to that to make it much more maneuverable. And also there's other additives and things you can add as well that might support you in a particular artistic expression that you're looking for. And secondly, as far as the painting medium goes, there are a couple different components typically to it. A thinner, which is really the solvent, which is the turpentine or the mineral spirits, and the binder, which is the oils. It could be linseed oil, it could be poppy oil, it could be a number of different oils, and also, to a lesser degree, additives, and we're going to be going over that in just a moment. But first, I wanted to kind of show you a couple common ones. Now this is about as basic and as common as you can get. It's really linseed oil and turpentine, and this is actually one that was used by Monet and used by Hopper, so really about as basic as you can get. Now if you did want to substitute the linseed oil for a slower drying oil, so it'd be even slower drying, you could go with something like a poppy oil or like a safflower oil. Certainly you can do that as well. And these also have the advantage that they have a tendency to yellow much less than a linseed oil, and they're also very good for light valued paintings. For example, paintings with a lot of white in them. Now, if the turpentine is too strong of a solvent for you, you could certainly substitute that for a Gamsol. So that's certainly an option as well. Now, one note about that particular medium that I just talked about, you have to be very careful not to use too much thinner, because that really breaks down the adhesive qualities of the paint. Or on the flip side of that, you also don't want to use too much oil, because you can wrinkle the paint. So it's a good idea to kind of stay somewhere in a mid-range for those particular mediums. Next one, this is the standard Ralph Meyer medium. It's 1/3 linseed oil, 1/3 turpentine, and 1/3 Damar varnish, and the additional component here being the Damar varnish. Now Damar varnish, you can get that, you can see it right here in crystals. You can really get it at any art supply shop. What you want to do is dissolve those crystals in 100% gum turpentine. And the addition of the Damar really has a couple advantages. One is that it causes more glossiness, which some people like, and for technical advantage, it also protects against dampness. So, and it's one I really prefer. It's very common out there. A lot of manufacturers have their own. Utrecht has one out here, oil painting medium, that is basically those same ingredients. Now, if you wanted to, for example, have a smooth, very enamel-like surface, you might want to look into an oil like Stand Oil. You can see right here it's very syrupy, very viscous, slow-moving, and this would be substituted for one of the oils like linseed oil or poppy oil, and it would give a nice, smooth, enameled look. So that's Stand Oil right here. And actually what it is linseed oil that's been boiled to about 500 degrees. So really linseed oil, but in a much thicker form. Now, as far as the additives go, you can certainly add additional items to your mediums, again, depending on what artistic expression you're looking for. And there's waxes out there like Dorland's wax, really causes a nice translucent effect to your work right here, and this is becoming very popular. You have beeswax right here, same sort of thing, a little bit different of a color, but produces that really nice matte effect to your painting, so certainly something to experiment with. Also, there's different gels out there if you're looking for a translucent impasto type look to your work. These are well worth looking into, the different gels out there. And there's also dryers, Japan dryer and Copal medium, which are pretty popular out there. I think this one, yeah, they're both a little different. You just have to read the labels on them. This one causes a little bit more gloss, but you really need just a few drops in here if you really want to speed up your drawing. Otherwise, you have the tendency to crack your painting. But that gives you just a general overview of what mediums are and some of the possibilities that you can use. Again, it depends on what you're looking for as far as the expression you're looking for, and like choosing your paint, it really takes a little bit of healthy experimentation, but at least this gives you a sort of framework to begin with. So next up, I did want to talk about solvents. So let's take a look at